Welcome back to No More Late Fees. This week, we're excited to sit down with a very special guest, actor, director, and all-around talent, Phillip Rhys Chaudhry. You've seen him in everything from 24 to Nip Tuck, Flatland, and of course, the Zenon movies. We're digging into his journey from London to Hollywood, his memories of the late 90s and 2000s entertainment scene, and what he's working on now. Welcome to the No More Late Fees podcast. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Danielle, and we're just two best friends and ex-Blockbuster employees rewatching some of the best and worst movies from the late 90s and early 2000s. And this week on the No More Late Fees podcast, we're so excited to have actor, director, and producer Phillip Rhys Chaudhry on our show. So tune in and enjoy because it's going to be a fun ride with Phillip. Phillip, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
So let's start at the beginning. What first drew you to acting, and what was the moment you knew this was the path that you wanted to pursue professionally?
Well, I was always a fan of, like so many of us when we were younger, fan of film. I loved film, theater, all of that. My mom and dad were pretty avid movie watchers, so it was always around. And it was just a great escape, another great movie. It was a really good escape for me from the doldrums of 80s South London, if you know what I mean. It was pretty boring and grey. So especially American movies really kind of landed with me. It felt very otherworldly and a lot of hope. And, so that was kind of, I was just drawn to American cinema and American actors specifically. Those out of the Actors Studio that predated De Niro and Pacino, like Brando and Clift, all those guys kind of I got into. But I remember, I think when I realized, like, whoa, is this acting? I saw a movie called Dog Day Afternoon. I don't know if you've seen this movie, the Al Pacino. Yeah. And again, I would have seen it on TV. It was on TV. I recorded it, I think. We had a VCR pretty early on. And I just thought, whoa, is this a movie or is this a document? I mean, I hadn't seen acting before, it's so alive and real and visceral. And I thought, But, how do you acquaint that to a career and coming to America and all of that stuff? So I just did school plays, did all that stuff. And then thought it was ridiculous. Got into girls and puberty hit and all that stuff and thought we can't be doing any of this acting thing. It's not cool anymore. But then I went to see a ballet, and I had never seen a ballet before, a ballet, with some friends. And I had a moment. I got so overwhelmed and emotional by what I was seeing on stage, by these dancers and how they were expressing themselves. I knew I didn't want to do that, but I knew I wanted to do something where there was some sort of form of expression. That I left that performance and I went home and I told my mom, I said, that whole acting thing I used to do and all of that, I said, it's come back again. I think I got to go all in. And I changed up my career path. I was at college. I changed my college and all that stuff and started studying for real. Yeah.
And your parents were open to you taking
They were, because they knew it was real. Yeah, my mum's grandmother was actually a dancer, and my mum, I think, pursued it for a minute. So they knew it wasn't a fad. It was something that had gone to youth drama schools and stuff like that. So they knew it was real. I was the curse and happy. Like,
Awesome.
Vocation. I mean, it sounds pretentious, but it chooses you sometimes.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Well, that's amazing that your parents were supportive.
Yeah, I mean, it was I said, I'm going to need your support emotionally and maybe financially. So,
So obviously you got into acting. What made you decide to head over to the US, and what was that like in this time period? Because let's be honest, we talk about this a lot on the podcast. For people of color, trying to get into Hollywood at that time was probably even harder than it is right now.
There was nothing. But there was even more nothing in the UK. It was adaptations of the the classics, right?
Right.
There was Jane Eyre, Another Sense and Sensibility, predating the Emma Thompson one. It was Dickens adaptations. There was nothing for me there. There was no brown boys on television. And then Channel 4 came around in the early 80s, and they did a movie called, they did two actually, My Beautiful Laundrette with Daniel Day-Lewis and Hanif Kureishi wrote that. And then there was The Buddha of Suburbia that Naveen Andrews was in. He was the guy in Lost. I don't know if you know.
I know.
Okay. So he was a big deal. He was a very big deal for me because there had not been any brown dudes on British TV.
Yeah.
So I went, oh, here we go. And predating that, maybe Art Malik in Jewel of the Crown, but I don't know if you know this miniseries. So there was no one. And so I said, well, if there's nothing here and there's nothing in America, I'd rather choose America because it's just a different way of life and it could be more exciting. So I had an American acting teacher and I was studying at an American school in London and my heroes were American. I didn't want to be on stage necessarily and all of that stuff. I wanted to be in TV and film. She said, well, if you go out there, you're going to have to change your name because you can't be an Indian kid. You're going to have to be some sort of European thing.
Yeah.
Right? There's less otherworldly that they can kind of get their head around. So she came up with this new name, Phillip Rhys. It was Philippe Chaudhry. It was my name. My mum's French, my dad's Pakistani heritage. So she came up with the whole, you're going to be from Malta, so that it's in Europe, but no one in America would know where it is. And then they went to Wales and all this nonsense story, just so people don't freak out. But so anyway, so that's kind of, and when I came out here, I was playing East Europeans, I was playing Greek, I was doing all sorts. I mean, I had to figure out how to be a character actor pretty fast,
right?
Which is given me a longevity actually in the career because, I'd rather be someone said you're a character actor, in a leading man's whatever, presenting as a leading man, but I'd rather be more, Johnny Depp and all my heroes, Jude Law, these boys are character actors.
Right.
But, they still get the girl every now and then, so.
Oh man. What's your creative process look like when you're starting a new project? I know in the beginning it was like you got work, but as you continued, how do you approach each role?
I think you've just got to get excited. You got to be passionate about it. There are some jobs you do for the money and some jobs that are just jobs.
Right.
But once you've committed to them, you have to fall in love with the project and then it becomes all encompassing. And the times that I've walked into a room where I've just, like Nip Tuck, for example, I remember seeing the pilot before it had aired because I had the audition the next day for the role that I got. I went into that room just as a fan of what I had seen on TV, right? The night, and I think Ryan Murphy and the casting, they saw that. They're like, oh my God. And then the audition was good too. We want him, he's going to make our show better because the guy loves the thing. He loves it, he gets it.
Exactly.
So I think that amount of, passion is huge. And so I have to have that. And if I can't find that, it gets tricky. But, you read the script, you get into it and you let your imagination go and you work hard.
Was there a role that you really, really wanted that you were really upset that you didn't get? I mean, I'm sure there's a ton, but was there one that you could specifically remember, like that just haunts you?
Yeah, it's funny because it kind of came up. Well, there are two. Kite Runner, the film.
Oh, okay.
That Mark Forster did.
Yep.
And for TV, it was a show called Sex Life, which was on HBO. I think it ran one season. Adam Scott got my role. But it was all about relationships, intimacy. Everyone had to sign these, disclaimers for nudity. Everyone was showing their bums and penises, and it was all going to be a whole thing. But the writing was terrific, and it was just relationship driven. So that one still niggles me. But look at Adam. I mean, he's terrific. And he's a lovely guy.
Yeah, it's crazy to think, like, I think the first time we probably saw him on screen was Boy Meets World, and it's just like such a vast difference. So yeah,
I saw him on
killing
stage.
it.
The first time I saw him was on stage doing a British play here in LA called Dealer's Choice. And he was doing a British accent and everything that Ray Winston originally did in the UK, Patrick Marber play. No, he's good. He's very talented.
Love Adam Scott. Yeah, he is very talented.
So you were working in the industry during such a defining time in the late 90s and early 2000s. What was that era like as a young actor in Hollywood?
Well, it was a great deal of fun, actually, because I was in this amazing acting class with some wonderful, wonderful talent. And the work we were doing on, each week, twice a week in class, we had Jeffrey Tambor was like our teacher, our formative acting teacher, and he was shooting Larry Sanders' show, or he was doing the other show with Jason Bateman, and he would come and then teach us. See, the guy's not teaching to teach; he's teaching because he wants to be there.
Right.
Yeah,
incredible. And the level of work was great. So I made some really beautiful friends there that we were still, in each other's lives, and it was just a bigger industry, if you know what I mean. There were more actors hustling, there were more roles around.
mm-hmm.
You could make a living from a couple of commercials, pay your rent, have a roommate, maybe wait some tables you could just hustle it. So there was a community.
Yeah.
And there was no such thing as the internet. So there's a lot of everything was, you're in your car, you're here, you're there. I mean, you saw Swingers. Did you ever see Swingers?
Yeah.
They nailed it. Vince Vaughn and Favreau, they nailed it, that world. So, but the thing I kept butting my head against was there weren't many roles for me.
Right.
So, I speak with an English accent, but I present I could be Mexican, I could be anything, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So they're like, who the hell is this dude? What's going on with this guy?
Yeah.
So I learned the American accent. I had some great teachers, and you just got better. You had to get better. And then when they got to know you, these casting directors that keep bringing you back, like, he's good. He's not right, but he's good. And they keep bringing you back, and you create relationships. And then slowly, and then you get your break. You get a break, and it works, and you get a little momentum. So, but it was in your 20s. It's all part of the. I don't want to say journey, but it's all part of the experience.
Right.
Learning,
Definitely.
you're growing, and it's an education. I mean, that's my university. You get a role, you're auditioning for a role, you got to learn about this. This guy's he's a lawyer, so what do lawyers do? You see, I'm learning this and that, and
it's like
didactic.
You have this whole arsenal of these
Yes.
different characters that you probably pull in your real life.
You do. I mean, I think Brando said, you only got a handful. You've got a handful of characters, right? Say 3 or 4 in your back pocket that you can bring out. And Proto Zoa, which I know you guys are fans of, that character came from because I did a play in Long Beach a year prior, and he had that energy. There was this little rocker energy. Oasis were around. I made him a bit of a swagger, a bit of a geezer, London geezer, and I took that and I went into Proto Zoa and I put it on Proto Zoa. He wasn't written with an English accent or anything, so the training I did, being on stage, being in class, working on characters, they helped me. They help you create characters. Yeah.
That's awesome. Were there any specific moments from that time that really helped shape your perspective on the craft or the business as a whole?
Well, you end up meeting your heroes.
Which could be hard or good
Which
sometimes.
can be hard. But at the same time, I've been lucky enough. When I say I worked with Al Pacino, he directed me, in several scenes in his Salome. He did a Salome thing. But I had to go in there and I had to audition. I've worked with Dennis Hopper. I was lucky enough. Ryan O'Neal. You start working with your heroes and you realize at the end, it's about the work.
Right.
It really
Definitely.
is. And you kind of get freaked out for those first few moments or first day on set.
Yep.
But then it's like, let's get to work.
Right.
Or then I'm at some parties and I'm sitting next to Michael Caine. I'm having a dinner with Michael Caine and just crazy, crazy stuff. And you just got to, it's about the work.
Yeah,
I think to answer your question, that's kind of what, so you realize it's about the work. You got to work hard and have a great attitude, not a phony one or a fake thing, but just be positive, be positive. Does that answer the question?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
definitely.
does.
Yeah.
I wonder how difficult it has been to transition. Now, you spoke about during that time there wasn't the internet, and now you're in your current career. Now you have social media. I think it was Maya Hawke who was talking about how like casting directors and stuff like that and producers are looking at your social media following before even seeing if you can act per se to see if you'll get a role. What has that been like to transition and have like, do you feel like you have to have a social media presence now to even just be in the business?
A little bit. But I don't have that many followers. I don't buy, majority of them buy followers, right?
Right.
The whole thing is just not said. But mine is what it is. I don't put anything, it is purely business. I don't put any personal photos up there. There's nothing of my family, nothing of me outside of work, I don't believe. So it's purely just getting my name out, promoting myself, self-promotion, or promoting friends or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of pressure. Am I losing jobs to people with more followers than me? Maybe. I don't, but I do know that is a thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely a thing. I mean, look, but there have been no YouTube movie stars, have there? There have been no, or whatever. Has it? I mean, Kim Kardashian has an acting career now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it does for the odd few. But I don't know if I fit in that market anyway. If that's, and also you have to have a certain voice. Some of my friends are really, really good at it. Really good at it, and they're fantastic. And I do something else, kind of thing. But I post. I'm on social media.
Yeah.
Cameo and all that stuff. It's kind of fun.
So looking back at your body of work, what role stands out to you as a personal favorite and why?
Well, I would say 24, because that's the one that really kind of put me in the zeitgeist, to be in a show that was nominated for Emmys and SAG Awards and was the biggest show on TV worldwide at the time.
Absolutely, yeah.
And the role was just terrific. And also what was a little sweetener was it was huge in the UK. So when I went back to England, that was kind of nice, right?
Yeah.
Hey, your mates go, hey. Those things matter sometimes. So that was great. And no one saw it, unfortunately, but I recently did the full Monty, which was based on the film.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it's on FX. It's on Disney Plus right now. And I got to work with Robert Carlyle. I got to work with Mark Addy, Leslie Sharp, Simon Beaufoy, who wrote Slumdog Millionaire. He came back and wrote it and produced. And Andrew Chaplin, the director. It was because Trainspotting is one of my favorite movies, right? So I'm working with Bobby Cart. So that was a real pinch me moment. Working with Dennis Hopper or Pacino, I directed a short film. It went to Tribeca. I met De Niro. So all of these little moments are. They're all great.
Yeah.
They're all great. You got to find the nuggets in everything. But 24 really kind of helped me move a little up.
I am a huge nerd and love Doctor Who. I even have this damn Doctor Who mug right now.
Oh, wow. Well, you know what? Actually, I should add then. When I was on that set and when I did walk into the TARDIS, I went, oh my God. Because I grew up with that, right?
Yeah.
I went, this is incredible. So sorry.
Yeah, that must have been amazing.
And working with Matt Lucas was, because I love him from Little Britain.
Yeah.
So you like?
I love Doctor Who. I was also excited to see you on Glee because I was such a nerd about that too. So working on Nip Tuck, was that like an easy way to get on the show because they remembered you, or was it just like a whole new start over process
It was the same casting directors, and I think
yeah.
Ryan must have seen the tape. I didn't see him on set or thing, so I'm sure it helped to some degree. But I still had to. It wasn't an offer. I still had to go in and shake my thing, you know.
Yeah. That show, I think, surprised so many people that it became as popular as it is.
It was huge. It was huge.
Yeah. Concerts, CDs, like insanity.
Insanity.
I think
And
that was one of the catalysts for you, actually, Danielle, projecting you into the career that you have now, hosting Glee watch parties and stuff like that.
Oh, was
yeah.
that what you were doing?
Yeah. I used to live in New York, and so when I got to New York, I was poor as all hell. So I made a blog of free things to do in New York every day. And that I didn't have cable, so but I saw the pilot of Glee and I was like obsessed. So I convinced a few of the bars that I did stuff with my blog with and said, "Hey, I want to have Glee parties so I can just watch the show." I didn't tell anybody that's what it was. And it just like exploded from there because then like Fox sent me they had like the local Fox News station when I had like the Glee party, the first season premiere or whatever, or no, the season finale, they came out and were like asking me questions. I was on the news.
Danielle. It was really good. Actually, it was very satisfying. You know, sometimes season finales are like horrible, but it was cute. I liked it. And I'm glad that they didn't win and they got another year. And we saw a nice part of Sue Sylvester, which was awesome. So I'm excited for next year.
And they sent me like all this swag to give out parties. And then it got to when they did the Glee project, what do you call it, reality show, they asked me to host the premiere party.
Wow.
And I was like, this is gone. I have fangirl too close to the sun. I didn't see this going there. Yeah.
So what was that like being on the other side then?
It was really cool. That experience got me able to meet a lot of people I couldn't imagine that I would meet. And also that's why I was like, don't meet your heroes, because sometimes you meet people you're like, oh, they're awful. But it was really, really cool. And I think that's helped this journey of us doing the podcast and
Definitely.
not being afraid to say, hey, will you be on our show? I mean, you didn't know us from Adam, but I was like, I gotta take my shot, whatever, you know?
It's good.
Yeah. And thank you for saying yes.
Yes.
Well, I like some background checks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a certain genre you like to do the most? Because you've done everything from action to sci-fi at this point, dramas, all that
It's
stuff.
interesting. I seem to have done a lot of sci-fi as well, which is interesting.
Yeah.
I like all of it, you know, but it has to be grounded. There has to be it has to be relationship driven. I mean, I do love I'm going to see Mission Impossible tomorrow. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
I love a good old action film, but it's about the relationships, you know,
Yeah.
about that. I could have, you know, 4 walls and 2 people talking and I'm in heaven.
Yeah.
If the writing's good and the acting's good. So, you know, straight drama is great, but a bit of humor. I like dark humor. Darker the better.
Did you see Sinners yet?
No, I want to.
Oh, you'll
That
love
good.
it.
See
It's so I was like, did he sprinkle crack in this? Like after you see it, you want to see it multiple times. I haven't had that with a movie in a long time.
Yeah.
It was on my radar, but wasn't. And then I was like, is this good? Or are people just saying it's good? But I realized it's better than good. It's pretty great, right?
Yeah, mainly because he does such a great job at world building. So you're in it so much that you don't even realize, oh my God, the action really hasn't even started yet. And the typical action you would see in one of these movies until you're 45 minutes in and you're like, damn, oh. And you leave wanting to know these characters, feeling like you know these characters. And then on top of that, there's so many layers of history. You know, he did so much work to all of these different communities, to making sure that they were represented properly.
Yeah.
But also there's just like layers of like, wow, you can go in and just see it as a surface movie, but like me being like a Black person, I was able to see so many other layers. And it's just been wonderful to see that so many people have been able to embrace that historical aspect of it as well. So it's fantastic.
I get this. And maybe I'll see it this weekend.
Yeah.
Forget Tom Cruise. Googler, I'm coming for you.
You've also stepped behind the camera. What sparked your interest in directing and storytelling from that side?
I think I always was a director who just happened to act, but I think I was a bit overwhelmed by maybe the technical aspect of everything and how to write a really good script. But I found this fantastic writing partner, also called Phillip. We met a theatre company, and together we wrote a short with Sandra Oh, and that went to Tribeca. That got me in a Disney directing program, which then got me the Good Doctor, which I directed. So that kind of helped that. But it was something I always wanted to do. And the older you get, the more stories you want to tell. You want to tell your own stories. So I started writing, and you know, it becomes quite cathartic. And also you look around, you know, I might have as much experience than, you know, the most experienced person right now on set. Because you've put the years in, or you just think maybe you could do a better or different job. So, and when you try it, you're like, oh, you know what? And there was more of me, actually, I think, in that short film that I did, which I think is you can get it online, called The Scarecrow with Sandra Oh. There's more of me in that, even though I'm not in it.
Yeah.
Than maybe in most of the roles I've actually played, because everything, all those creative choices I made, right?
Yeah.
It was very personal. But I love it. I love directing. I love acting. And I think that, you know, it's not mutually exclusive. Directing makes me a better actor and vice versa. So I think you can do it all.
Well, we'll definitely put a link in the show notes so that people can check it out. And we have to watch the full Monty now.
No, watch the full Monty.
Maybe that's what we'll watch, Jackie. I'm going to Austin. We're going to Houston to see Beyonce for my birthday because Jackie's the best friend ever.
Oh my God, Jackie, you're amazing.
We're at the top of the stadium, but we'll be in the same air as Beyonce,
long as I'm breathing the same air as her. That's all that matters. That's one person. If I met her in person, you'd probably have to resuscitate me. There's no way. Yeah.
I met Bowie once.
That's so cool.
That's amazing.
Bowie once, and he knew who I was.
Wow. That's so cool. See, I besides the Beyonce, I think I stay pretty cool when I meet celebrities, but Jackie laughs because the only group of celebrities that I lose it is soap opera stars.
How funny.
She's like, Danielle.
That's very good. I have so much respect for those actors. So much respect.
Because look at how many scripts they get in how many days. That's insane.
Yeah.
If you could do soaps, you can do anything 100%. After that.
It's like it's live theatre almost.
Yeah.
Have you seen Tootsie?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
There's so many movies that are, because we stick to 95 to 2005. We talked about like every now and again maybe doing some of our favorites outside of that time frame, but we wanted it to be that because we felt like if we were picking from all over, it would be just too overwhelming.
It's a lot. So what are your top three from that period then?
From 95 to, oh gosh.
Put us in the hot seat, because we ask this of our guests all the time, and we never have to answer it.
Oh, no.
I think Scream.
I would say 100%.
I would probably put The Mummy up there, and probably Lilo and Stitch.
Ooh,
my three.
That's good.
Oh boy, yeah. I'm just gonna probably say my birthday movies, which was Crooklyn. Spike Lee, love that one. My Best Friend's Wedding. Love a rom-com. Love Julia Roberts. Fantastic. Bring It On.
Very good. Very good.
I'm not afraid to be campy about stuff. So
I love it.
Yeah.
So, Phillip, we'd love to know what you're working on now. If you can share any projects that are upcoming or anything that like you're super excited about sharing.
Sure, I can't name the actors, unfortunately, but there's a feature version of this Scarecrow that we are in pre-production on. So that is something we hope to, get done at least by the end of the year or early next year. So that's something I'm directing, starring in, and producing. And there are a couple of things that I'm in the mix for, acting things in front of the camera, and a project in the United Kingdom, and an independent. So there's some stuff here and there.
Awesome.
Would you ever do the show Bridgerton?
Yeah, I'd love to do Bridgerton.
I feel like you'd be great in that. I love that show.
Too. I tested for Grace.
Oh, you did?
No, it was Grace. It was untitled Shonda Rhimes project.
Oh wow! Can you say which role?
What role was it? It was George, the George role, TK, which is right, kind of.
You would be great on it.
His name's TK, right?
Yeah, or TR Knight. Yeah.
But TR was George.
He was. Yeah, he was.
We came out afterwards. We all shared a cigarette in the Disney parking lot. How'd you do? And he was that guy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that show is still on, it's insane. It's, but I'm not complaining. Like, it's not what it was, but I can still watch a few episodes. I'm still a diehard Grey's Anatomy fan.
Shonda's amazing, but that I'll speak to that. Actually, that's good you mentioned that. Shonda and Ryan Murphy, when I went in on those roles, Nip Tuck and Grey's, and again, they're casting directors too, who did that. Linda Lowy and Ulrich Kritzer-Dawson. They didn't care what color I was or what color anyone was. So, and that was then, this guy, the Nip Tuck one was presented like Tom Cruise smile and this and that. It was kind of presenting super Caucasian, waspy, Robert Redford-like. And it cast colorblind casting, and same with Shonda. And they were doing it before there were any mandates or whatever's going on now,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
To meet Shonda Rhimes, the brain on that woman.
Incredible, isn't she?
Yeah.
She has stories to tell.
ABC really messed up, man. Yeah. I don't know how they lost her, but I'm glad she found a home on Netflix. I will watch anything that woman comes out with. It's always top tier.
She just gets it. She just knows where it's going, right? The zeitgeist, or what piques people's interest, and then does a little spin on it.
And I'm thankful for her for so many characters that we got, but especially actors like Sandra Oh. Christina Yang will go down as one of the best characters ever.
100%.
Yeah.
Dynamite.
We actually had Mona May on the show not too long ago. Yeah.
Mona, wow.
How was it like working with her? She's fantastic.
She's everything. She helped that character so much. She was the costume designer for Zenon, Proto Zoa. So you'd go. We went shopping. We went out. She did the time. We went to the stores, and we went to all of these kind of offbeat clothing stores, and we just tried everything on. And she was open to anything. It could have gone any sort of way. It was written as a bit more of a low key kind of dude. Almost like Sting from Police is what I was like, I don't know about that. We need to go, right? And Dan DePass and all the producers were totally up for it. So, and the blonde hair came out of another project I was doing, because in your 20s, you're going to speak with an English accent. I kind of started getting all the musician roles, right? So, so I wanted to do something different. I said, I can't be another musician. Let me do the hair. So we did that. But Mona the leather pants were probably her idea. The jacket, all of it. The silver, all of it. The chain.
She's a genius, that one.
Yeah, she definitely.
You're as good as the people you work with. You realize that.
Yeah, that's very true.
And the wardrobe fed that character so much, because you have to walk in a certain way, right? And you got a big jacket. She's great. I was great. Spoke to her.
Yeah.
What are you working on now? Do you know?
What she's working on? She's actually working on a book right now. Yeah. Yeah.
And she
So,
just collaborated with Alicia recently on a project they did.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting because they announced the Clueless TV show. We didn't get to ask her about the new Clueless TV show, but because she's so close with Alicia, it probably is a no-brainer that she'll be a part of that as well.
Yeah.
But we did ask her about the Romeo and Michelle sequel that
They're doing a sequel, aren't they?
Yeah.
Mhm. And so that is probably in the works. Yeah.
So what do you think was about the 90s then? That period then that hit?
So you know what it is? Like I thought I posted this meme the other day about like how many reboots we're getting.
Yeah. Sorry.
And everyone's like, no originality, blah, blah, blah. But I just think what it is that when we were growing up in the 90s, we were getting a bunch of reboots and remakes of 60s TV shows and movies.
The Brady
So,
Bunch, right?
right. You
Yeah.
can, like, the Thomas Crown Affair, like, there's
Yep.
the Charlie's Angels, like, there's so many reboots. But I think now our generation are the decision makers, and I think we just want to tap into our youth. Every generation is doing that. So I
Yeah.
don't know if it's necessarily like that the 90s and 2000s were so great. It's just that we're having nostalgia for it, and people our age are making these creative decisions. That's my thought.
I think
Yeah.
you nailed it. I think you're right. You're totally right. We want to revisit, right?
Right.
A little bit.
Yeah.
That, for sure. Yeah. Because there's an aesthetic, as a director, there's an aesthetic I like, and that's the 70s cinema. So when I did The Scarecrow, I wanted to look like one of those 70s movies from Southern California, but Robert Altman liked. So, yeah, we kind of nod our hat, don't we, to what we liked.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well, your next movie, we're very open to be extras, so you just let us know.
No, maybe I'm from South Florida and shoot there. What are the tax breaks like that?
Yeah.
That's what it's about now.
Yeah, very true.
Definitely.
Phillip, it's been so wonderful. We really
thank
appreciate
you. So
you.
much.
Not at all. You're both lovely, absolutely adorable, and good luck with everything. I listened to your Linda Oakes interview, and I thought it was great.
Oh, thank you.
She was so open, wasn't she?
Oh, she
Yes.
was. And we were so incredibly lucky to have a conversation with her just from her impact on the industry as a female producer in the 80s. And yeah, we were just blown away by
floored.
her. Yeah.
So it really saddened us to hear that she had passed away last year. And so we just feel very blessed that, because she's like one of our very first interviews. That's a pretty...
That's a big scoop, huh?
Yeah.
That's great.
We've been really lucky, and so
we have.
Just hopefully we keep growing. We love doing this and see where it goes.
Yeah.
Good luck. You guys do good work. You do really good.
Thank you, Phillip. We really appreciate your time this morning.
So many of our friends are like losing their collective minds that you got to be on the show.
We will do.
Zoom. One more.
Let's hear a word from our pod pals.
When's the last time you watched a Disney Channel original movie?
I'm Gabby.
And I'm Natalie, and this is Once Upon a Teacup, the podcast where we rave
and sometimes roast
all of your favorite Disney Channel original movies.
From the 90s to today,
with classics like High School Musical and The Cheetah Girls.
We'll dive into all of the iconic moments, cheesy one-liners, and of course the questionable fashion choices from years gone by.
And we don't hold back from the real discussions either. What did Smart House predict about AI? And what can Halloween Town teach us about being a female icon?
If you're all about the nostalgia and ready for a rewatch, you'll love Once Upon a Decom.
Now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. New episodes every single Tuesday.
You can find Phillip's social handles and contacts in our show notes, and we just appreciate that he was able to take time out of his day to join us. And as always, be kind and rewind.